Hello friends, ACE Protein next episode. In this episode, we'll be discussing biological classification, third part, mainly protist. Meanwhile, in the same channel, I am putting short questions, 1 or 2, around 12:30 to 1:30 after lunch. Other 2 will be after 8:30, 9, etc. night. Now I am putting only from second year. Gradually, I'll be including first year also. So total 4 questions. 2 will be from first year, 2 will be from second year, every day in shorts. So please subscribe ACE button to get all this. Okay, we can proceed. Biological classification, third part. What all things we'll be discussing in this episode? For that, as well as to observe notes and diagrams, I will share the screen so it will be easy for you. I think a screen came, so we can proceed. Biological classification, third one. An introduction will be there, then protist, their classification, different protist groups. Then, as usual, 5 theory question, 5 NEET model question with the key. So when we enter into introduction, so we'll be discussing entirely the protist, their features, classification, characters, importance, all aspects of protist connected with NCERT. Now we can enter into protist characters, features. Protists are unicellular eukaryotes are placed under kingdom Protista. In NCERT, there is a famous comment, but boundaries of this kingdom not well defined. What may be a photosynthetic protistan to one biologist may be a plant to another. So boundaries of this kingdom not well defined. This is a famous NCERT line referring to protist. Now, kingdom was proposed by Ernst Haeckel in Whittaker classification. You studied it in 1866. And this kingdom connects prokaryotic kingdom Monera, that is on one side, and multicellular kingdom fungi, plant, animalia to other side. And they are supposed to be ancestors of all multicellular eukaryotic organism, since it is eukaryote. Nucleus and other cell organs are seen. So it is connecting Monera, kingdom Monera to one side and multicellular kingdom fungi, plant, animalia to other side. So connecting link. They are supposed to be ancestors of all multicellular eukaryotic organism. And since this group is eukaryote, nucleus, and other cell organs all are seen in NCERT page number 14, preprint edition, March 24. Now, classification of protists. Different types of classifications are available. So, 2 we will be discussing here or explaining here. One is protista, chrysophyta, dinoflagellate, euglenoid, slime molds, and protozoans. Other is protista, photosynthetic protist, consumer decomposer protist, and protozoan protist. Now, again, general features of protista. All protistans are unicellular and eukaryotic. So anywhere we can apply this line. All protistans are unicellular and eukaryotic. Since unicellular, we cannot observe tissue level organization because only single cell. Tissue means assembly of cells. Membrane organelles are present since it is eukaryote. Ribosome size is 8 years, like eukaryote ribosome. May have cell wall. May have cell wall, not a must. May have. Flagella seen 9+2. Protein tubulin, eukaryote. Locomotion, that is cilia, flagella, pseudopodia, based on it, classification is made by different scientists, locomotory structures. Since numerous cilia in ciliates, it is present, movement will be fastest due to large number of cilia. Now, different types of nutrition are available. Holophytic, that is dealing with photosynthetic type. Holozoic, that is a type of ingestive or animal type. Saprobic, absorptive or parasitic. Mixotrophic, that is saprobic or photosynthetic. Here, due to lack of space, I just stopped with the SYN. So when space is not there, I have to write like this. Okay, that is the reason. It is not a mistake. Photosynthetic. Since SYN only, I can write that. Now, asexual and sexual mode of reproduction is there. Meiosis is zygotic and gametic. Protists include members of photosynthetic, parasitic, decomposers, organisms, same type, organism. Now comes photosynthetic protista. Phytoplanktons, photosynthesis. So phytoplanktons mainly comes under this group. They are also called protist algae. Chrysophyta includes, the group includes diatom and desmids. Habitat is generally freshwater or aquatic, marine, and even terrestrial may be possible. Mainly aquatic. Diatoms. Diatoms and desmids comes under Chrysophyta. Normally aquatic. Terrestrial will be there less. They support main marine life. They have different colors. Interestingly, they lack flagella except in the reproductive stage. Famous question. So they lack flagella except in the reproductive stage. I think up to that it is clear because these are our data-based area. So memory-wise, we have to remember that's all. They were able to float due to lightweight lipids. And cell wall is impregnated with the silica, forms a transparent siliceous shell, often called fructules. Silica shells are nearly indestructible, long-lasting, may get deposited in seabed, seashore, seabed, etc. We can find it. And that is called diatomaceous earth or diatomite or kieselguhr. It is having industrial use, like filters in brewing industries, sugarcane, then refineries, polishes, metals, etc. Some application of kieselguhr, diatomaceous earth or diatomite. Famous question, kieselguhr. Now, body has got a soap-like arrangement. A diagram I drawn there, you can find it, with upper epitheca, clearly labeled there, and lower hypotheca. So during division, these two parts separates. And into old epitheca, new hypotheca comes. Old hypotheca become new epitheca, into which a smaller hypotheca will come. So this way, when it proceeds, we can find size will be reduced. Each division size will be reduced in one segment. So to restore the size of the cell, there are certain events like oxospore formation, etc. Similarly, connected with it, there is a famous law. It is called McDonald-Pfizer law or hypothesis. That part not in NCERT, but just mentioned since it is important. McDonald-Pfizer law and oxospore. Pigments include A, C, beta-carotene, xanthophyll, etc. Reserve food is oil, chrysolaminarin, volatilizing granules. Statospore is the resting spore, static resting spore. Approximately, next is important, 50% of the total organic matter synthesized by this group of organisms. Approximately 50% of total organic matter. So they do a great work for other organisms. I think idea clear. Now we can proceed to next page. So in the continuing with the previous statement, then it will be complete. Approximately 50% of total organic matter synthesized in the biosphere. Now, asexual reproduction mainly by binary fission. Sexual reproduction, that is from isogamy to chemy, gametic meiosis. Main body is usually 2N. Diatoms indicate pollution, where desmids lives in comparatively pure water. So lack of pollution. So we can directly say both connected with the pollution, diatoms in polluted situation, then desmids comparatively pure water or more pure water. The pollution indicators, specifically diatoms. Now examples, triceration, Cimbella, Navicula, and Melocera. Order one question. Now comes next group, dinoflagellate. They are also unicellular eukaryotic protists, mainly marine. Some are freshwater, biflagellate and motile. Term armored dinoflagellate is due to a rigid coating for the body called theca and lorica, made by two or many articulated sculptured plates made by cellulose and pectin. So that is why the term armored dinoflagellate covering. Flagella is there, showing heterocone. One is longitudinal, other is transverse, right angle to each other. Since two flagella right angle to each other, they will produce a spinning movement, which is often called whirling whips. Pigments, chlorophyll A, C, carotene, xanthophyll. Again, reserve food is oil, carbohydrate. Asexual reproduction mainly cell division. Sexual reproduction is there but less by isogamous and anisogamous. Zygotic and gametic meiosis seen. Some marine dinoflagellates show bioluminescence, means emit light. Example is Noctiluca, otherwise called night light, due to phosphorescence. In night, we can find C will be shining on the surface. Some dinoflagellate produces saxitoxin, neurotoxin, into the seawater, kills other animals, especially vertebrates. They can also cause PSP. PSP means paralytic shellfish poisoning. How it happens? When marine shellfishes consume dinoflagellate, no harm for marine shellfishes. But when they are consumed by others, it is risky. Similarly, famous red tide is caused by some dinoflagellate like gonialax, famous question, gymnodium, etc. It is due to large amount of proliferation, sudden increase in number. And in cyanobacteria, you may be remembering a term, Red Sea. So Red Sea is different. That is caused by a cyanobacteria, Trichodesmium erythraeum. Red tide is caused by dinoflagellate. Red Sea is caused by cyanobacteria. Example for dinoflagellate, gonialax, gymnodinium, peridinium, etc. Now comes next group, euglenoids. They are mainly freshwater organisms. They are normally flagellated protistans. Euglena is more famous and a large genus. Euglena is otherwise called spindle organism. There you can find in white, you can find EU means good, glean means eyeball. NCERT diagram figure 2.4 euglena. Euglenoids commonly seen in stagnant water. A common question, stagnant water. Cell wall is absent. Instead, they have a layer called pellicle. Chemically, it is proteinaceous. That is a question. Shows certain elasticity. Locomotion is by flagella, which is long, stegonymatic. That is having single row of mastigonines here, hair-like projections. At the anterior end, the flagella is attached. In the area where the union of two flagella is present, there is a paraflagellar body seen, and it is photosensitive also. Many have two flagella, many. One long, one short. Pigments similar to higher plants. Now, myonemes. Myonemes are strips in pellicle. Pellicle means outer covering, oblique but parallel arranged. They have creeping movements, and it is called metaboly. Stigma is the high spot, having photosensitive orange pigment, astaxanthin. Contractile vacuole is seen in the anterior end. Osmoregulation excretion, that will be the function. Single large nucleus. They are photoautotrophic and mixotrophic. Chlorophyll A, B, xanthophyll, beta-carotene present. Reserve food material is important, is paramylon. What is paramylon? We'll be watching it at the end of this page. Sexual reproduction not seen. Sexual reproduction not seen. Normal reproduction is by longitudinal binary fission, LBF, longitudinal binary fission under favorable condition. Under unfavorable condition, pamellae and cysts are formed for perination. And typical example is euglena and paranema. Now, what is the reserve body? That is paramylon. It is linear, beta 1, 3 glucan, storage carbohydrate, and the bond is beta 1, 3 glycosidic bond. I think after that it is clear. Now comes next group, slime molds, which is otherwise called consumer decomposer protists, slime molds. And characteristics. Generally, they are free-living organisms. They will be creeping on decaying matter, rotting wood segments, fallen leaves. And they have naked protoplast, that is no cell wall covering during vegetative stage. Vegetative stage, no cell wall covering. Nutrition is chlorophyll absent, so basically saprophytic or maybe phagotrophic. Now comes a famous term from slime molds, plasmodium. Plasmodium is formed during favorable conditions. Under suitable condition, they form an aggregation called plasmodium. You can find the diagram NCERT given there. So they form an aggregation called plasmodium, which may grow and spread over several feet. NCERT. In unfavorable condition, plasmodium differentiate and forms fruiting bodies bearing spores at their tips. Tips, we can find spores. Spores have two walls. Again, wall came, highly resistant and can survive adversities. And how the spores will be dispersed? It is by air currents. I think idea clear. Now, reproduction can be asexual or sexual. It is a connecting link. How the connection is made. So, feature similar to fungus. It is fruiting body. Feature similar to plants, presence of cell wall on spores. Feature similar to animals, plasmodium is without cell wall. Two groups will be there, cellular slime mold and acellular slime mold. For cellular slime mold, example is Dictyostelium polyspondylium. Acellular slime, Physarum, Physarella, fuligo. Now, among these two, advanced is, comparatively more advanced is, normally preferred is cellular slime mold. Why? Moving to multicellularity nature, cellular specialization, life cycle complexity. Now comes protozoa, last group. Again, unicellular, eukaryotic in nature, heterotrophs, lives as predators or parasites, supposed to be the primitive relative of animals, protozoa. Now, 4 major groups: amoeboid protozoan, flagellated protozoan, ciliated protozoan, and sporozoan. So first is amoeboid protozoan. It is based on classification based on mainly locomotor structure. Here it is freshwater, also in seawater. Even in moist soil, we can observe them, mostly free living, but some members are parasitic, some only parasitic. Then, movement is by pseudopodia, false feet. In some cases, silica shells seen, often called sarcodines. And typical example for amoeboid protozoan is amoeba and endamoeba. Next is flagellated protozoan, where we can find flagella, free living or parasitic, presence of flagella. Organisms are free living or parasitic. Example is Trypanosoma and Leishmania. Flagellated protozoan. Now comes next group, that is ciliated protozoan. Mainly aquatic, some are parasites. Locomotion is by cilia. Ingestion and ejection areas are available. Example is paramecium, NCERT figure. Presence of 2 types of nucleus in paramecium, and here binary fission is transverse. Famous question. Now comes last group, sporozoans. Normally, all are endoparasites. That's what NCERT says. Many parasitic adaptations are seen, no locomotor structure, spore-like stages are there, and infectious. Example is Plasmodium, causing malaria, and the remedy is quinine, obtained from cinchona tree. Then we can find 5 theory question, 5 NEET model question with the key. So what all things we learned in this episode? So bioclassification, episode number 3. An introduction was there. Then protist. Main content is protist here. The classification is from protist, introduced in the first page. Then their classification given. Then general characteristics of protista discuss. Then their classification and photosynthetic protist, under which diatoms and desmid, and features of diatoms, epitheca, hypotheca, macronal, pipcerlo, etc. Then approximately 50% of the total organic matter synthesized in the biosphere, that is by this group. Asexual reproduction mainly by binary fission. Then 2 types will be the diatoms and desmid. Diatom lives in polluted area, desmids in comparatively pure water. And example. Then came dinoflagellate, again unicellular eukaryotic protist, marine, armored dinoflagellates. Then that covering is due to cellulose and pectin, flagella heterocont. One is longitudinal, one is transverse. Then whirling whips, how the name came. Then reproduction, cell division, asexual. Sexual reproduction is there. Less. Some marine dinoflagellates show bioluminescence. Example is Noctiluca. Then saxitoxin, paralytic shellfish poisoning, red tide, gonialex, variation red sea, cyanobacteria, trichodesmium. So red tide is gonialex. Then euglenoids, name how it came. Then features, no cell wall. There is a covering called pellicle, proteinaceous. Then flagella, their features. Then we can find myonames connected with the movement metabolic. Then orange pigment astaxanthin. Reserve food is paramylon. And chemically what is paramylon will be observing last longitudinal binary fission, favorable condition, unfavorable condition, palmylene cyst. Example Euglena paranema, then paramylon beta 1,3 glucan. Then slime molds, their characters, and what is meant by the term plasmodium. Favorable condition, under suitable condition, they form an aggregation called plasmodium, which may grow and spread over several feet, NCERT. Unfavorable condition, they will be forming spores in floating body at the tip. And the spores are dispersed by air currents. Then reproduction, asexual, sexual. Then connecting link, features similar to fungus, features similar to plants, features similar to animals. Then 2 types, cellular and acellular slime molds, which is advanced, etc. Then protozoan, first animal-like organism. Their classification, amoeboid, flagellated, ciliated, sporozoan. Features of amoeboid protozoan, example amoeba and endamoeba, sarcodines, another one. Then flagellated protozoan, example is Trypanosoma and Leishmania. Then ciliated protozoan, paramecium, they will be able to move fastest among all in this group. Binary fission is transverse. Then came parasites, sporozoan, typical example is Plasmodium, malaria, quinine from cinchona. Then as usual, 5 theory question, 5 NEET model question with the key. So if you like this episode, Subscribe all, like it, share it, comment on it. We can meet later. Take care. Bye. Short question I am putting daily. First year also gradually I'll be putting since class has not yet start. Okay. So take care. Bye.